What's up, guys? So today's video we're gonna discuss about the sports and exercise psychology and team sports. So I hope you will learn a lot about my topics for today. So keep watching. So first we will gonna discuss about the exercise psychology and sports psychology. So exercise psychology and sports psychology, it involves the scientific study of the psychology factors that are associated with participation and performance in sport, exercise, and other types of physical activity. Sports psychologists are interested into two main areas, which is helping the athletes. So they are using psychological principles to achieve optimal mental health and to improve performance, or we call it performance enhancement. So, and understanding how participation in sport, exercise, and physical activities affect an individual psychological development, health, and well-being throughout the lifespan. What is team sports? So a team sports includes any sports which involves players working together towards or a shared objective. A team sports is an activity in which a group of individuals on the same team work together to accomplish an ultimate goal, which is usually to win. This can be done in a number of ways, such as outscoring the opposing team. Team members set goals, make decisions, communicate, manage conflict, and solve problems in a supportive, trusting atmosphere in order to accomplish their objectives. This can be seen in many kinds of sports, such as hockey, football, American football, association football, basketball, volleyball, tennis, water polo, lacrosse, rowing, rugby, or rugby league, or rugby union, cricket, handball, and many others. Every team sports is different. Some team sports are practiced between opposing teams, where the players interact directly and simultaneously between them to achieve an objectives. The objectives generally involve teammates facilitating the movement of the ball, or usually involves carefully strategic planning or good preparation and a mental health and physical toughness of each individual that is part of team. So team sports rely on all the players working together equally in order to succeed at the task at the hand. Being part of team sport requires that each athlete has patience and perseverance, since the goal put forth to accomplish might take some time to meet. This involves a good deal of decision, hard work, and good leadership over the span of time. So now let's proceed to the basketball, or the brief history of basketball. So basketball was invented in 1891 by Dr. James Naismith, a Canadian of Scottish descent of at Springfield College, Massachusetts. The college was the international YMCA training school, and the game was invented to provide an indoor activity for trainee YMCA leaders. So when the game was first played, pitch baskets were nailed up at each of the game gymnasium as a goals. So hence the origin of the name basketball. So the first set of the rules was published and distributed through the YMCA movement in 1892. and this resulted in the game spreading rapidly throughout the Canada and the USA. In 1992, also saw the game played in England for the first time in Birkenhead, YMCA, after the club president was the game played whilst on a business trip to Canada. In 1893, the game was introduced into the physical training college in Hampstead. Now it's called Dartford College of PE by Madame Berman Osterberg. So changes the game to suit the girls led to the first rules of netball being published in 1901. By 1898, a professional league was established in the USA. By 1911, basketball has spread throughout the UK as a sport. In 1924, it was introduced as a demonstration sport of the Paris Olympic Games in Great Britain, won the battle or won the title. So in 1927, Abby Saperstein, a Londoner from the world famous Harlem Globetrotters, no, in 1931, FIBA, the International Basketball Federation, was formed with Welshman as its first secretary. So the England Basketball Association was formed in 1936. So 13 years before the NBA was formed. The NBA was formed in America. So by 1957, the English Schools Basketball Association was formed. In 1970s, saw the introduction of both men's and women's national leagues in the UK. And by 1999, 219 teams were entered in the over 16 national leagues with almost 100 competing at under 15 levels. And by 1990, there were 117 members countries in FIBA, making basketball the second largest of all the world's governing bodies and also the world's fastest growing and largest participation in sports. So to date, there are 212 members countries worldwide, which whilst in the UK alone there are over 500,000 people who regularly participate in recreational basketball, and it has become increasingly common to find the sports as part of the curriculum in schools at all levels. It is also used widely as community activity, as anyone of any age or gender can participate. Basketball is now included the Commonwealth Games, and the sport in general receive a lot of coverage when the GB wheelchair team performed very successfully in the Paralympics recently. So providing that it is a sport that is accessible and playable by everyone. So now we will proceed to the rules and regulations of basketball. So first we will going to discuss the rules of basketball. So basketball dates back as far as 1891, and since then has evolved into a sport played around the world. So many countries have adopted the game, such as Russia, Great Britain, Germany, Spain, and also here in our country, which is the Philippines. So it is the America where the biggest and most lucrative league in the world lives, like the NBA or the National Basketball Association. Objective of the games. The objective of basketball is to throw the basketball into a hoop to score points. The game is played out on a rectangular court, and depending on which section of court you successfully threw a ball into the basket, So it will depend on how many points are scored. The ball can be moved around by dribbling or passing the ball. At the end of the game, the team with the most points is declared the winner. Players and equipment. So each team is made up of 12 players with only 5 allowed on the court at any time. So the positions are broken up into point guard, defensive guard, center, offensive forward, and defensive forward. Each player will then take up a position on the court but are allowed to move around as they please. The court is a rectangular shape and measures around 91 feet long and 50 feet wide. So there is a halfway line in which a small circle is found in the center, and this is where the game starts with the tip of the ball, which is the jump ball. So the ball is thrown in the air by the referee, and a player from each team tries to win positions for their team. So at each end of the court are 2 baskets, both 10 feet in height. So a 3-point arc is the outside ring, whilst in the middle of that is the key, which includes a free throw line. So all that is needed to play is a court and basketball. So teams must wear matching stripes, with player choosing to wear gum shields and face mask for protections. So face mask yung protections, like for example dito sa ilong, and also the eyes, no. So the games is split up into 4 to 12 minutes quarter. In between the the second and third quarter is a 15-minute halftime interval. So basketball scoring. So there are 3 scoring numbers for basketball players. So any basket scored from outside the 3-point arc will result in 3 points, so being scored. So baskets scored within the 3-point arc will result into 2 points being scored. Successfully free throws will result in 1 point, so being scored per free throw. So the number of the free throws will depend on where the fouls was committed. So rules for offense. So the basketball team on offense is the team with the basketball. So when a player has the basketball, there are certain rules they must follow. So 1, the player must bounce or dribble the ball within one hand while moving both feet. So if at any time both hands touch the ball or the player stops dribbling, the players must only move one foot. So the foot that is stationary is called the pivot foot. So the second one is the basketball player can only take one turn at dribbling. In other words, once a player has stopped dribbling, they cannot start another dribbling or dribble. So the referee called that traveling. So a player who starts dribbling again is called for travel or double dribble. Defensive rules. So the team on defense is the team without the basketball. So first, the main rule for the defensive player is not to foul. A foul is described as gaining an unfair advantage through physical contact. No, there are some interpretation that has to be made by the referee, but in general, the defensive player may not touch the offensive player in a way that causes the offensive player to lose the ball or miss a shot. Rules for everyone. So although the foul rule described above as defensive rule, it applies exactly the same to all players on the court, including offensive players. Number 2, basketball players cannot kick the ball or hit it with their fist. 3, no player can touch the basketball with or it is a traveling downward towards the basket, or if it is on the rim. So this is called goaltending. So, or the touching the ball on the rim is an illegal in some games. So every player on the court is subject the same rules regardless of the position they play. So the positions in basketball are just for the team basketball strategy, and there are no positions in the rules. So I want to share something about you guys that uh, playing of basketball or any kinds of team sports is fun and excitement, and it gives us a healthy lifestyle and strong relationship to others. And sport is not just about winning, and sports is all about um, the happiness and the enjoyment that it gives to you. No matter you lose or you win, um, after the game, you will experience fun or enjoyment. That is the main goal of that game. So I hope that you learn a lot of my discussion for today or my topics, and see you guys.